Well, welcome everyone to our Vision Possible monthly live Q&A. So glad you're all joining us. We'll give everyone a few minutes to log on and join us. But thank you so much for watching us, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or XOTV. We are indeed live. Everyone say hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Or do we say live? Live.
Live.
Why don't we go around and introduce ourselves? I mean, I know our names are there, but as far as anyone knows, we could have switched our names. We have no idea we're really those names. We have no clue.
And Butch and I are living in a box, so we're together.
Yes.
No one lets us out, so we're stuck. So we figured, hey, we're married.
I can't mute you guys individually now.
I know, right?
Or anything. Like, how am I going to do it tonight?
She's been trying to mute me for many, many years.
Also, we had someone just join us. Carly, welcome to the stream.
Thank you.
Carly Hartman. I know her.
What we were just saying is we're going to go around and introduce ourselves. So, Ryan, why don't you start?
Yeah, good to see you guys tonight. My name's Ryan Haley, part of the Vision Possible team, and glad to share with you guys whatever you want to talk about. I kind of specialize in finance and just financial planning overall, but also a lot of coaching and ministry work as well. So looking forward to your questions and how we can help you guys.
Yes. Carly, what about you? Who are you?
I am Butch and Julieann's daughter, and I am a marketer. So I've been an entrepreneur since the age of 17, and I
How
love
old are you now?
I'm 26.
Thank you.
I love marketing so much. So I do it full time out here in Nashville and had my own business for 7 years.
Woo!
That is awesome. And of course, Butch and Julieann, why don't you introduce yourselves? For
Why
those
don't you go?
who
Well,
don't know.
Well, who are you, Nathaniel?
Yeah, Nathaniel, who are you?
All right, I'll go first. I'm Nathaniel Spiers. I'm one of the coaches here on Vision Possible. But, one of my passions is just business and ministry coming together. But I've built several businesses over the years, bought and sold different businesses, and now get the awesome privilege of being part of Vision Possible and helping you guys achieve your goals.
Okay, so here we are now. So I will go first. I'm Julieann Hartman. I am his wife and Carly's daughter. Carly's mother.
Okay, let's focus.
Sorry
Carly's mom.
And I just we have several businesses that we've run throughout the years, and I enjoy all of it. It is exciting to get new challenges day by day, whether it's through employee relations or if it's through just crazy computer issues, to just making sure that everybody is happy and that they are getting what they need. And also, I am an encourager. I've always been an encourager. I love helping people because I know what it's like to feel like you don't know where to go, how to do it, when to do it. You feel stuck at times. I was a master procrastinator in my younger life, and so I know how to pull people out of that pit as well. So that's who I am.
Awesome. And together,
and together we fight crime.
We're strong.
That's right. Together they fight crime on an all new Butch and Julieann tonight at 7. No, I'm Butch Hartman. I am mostly known for being an animator, cartoonist guy, and I worked at Nickelodeon for many years in the entertainment industry, over 35 years, doing some amazing new projects now. We've started networks. We are starting a brand new network. We have a lot of cool, awesome projects in the works. I said that already, but father of 2 amazing daughters, husband of this amazing wife for 29 years now.
Yes. Pretty soon. Everything's going so fast. We're like November 1st. Pretty soon it'll be 30 years.
And one of the great things we talk about, guys, is whenever we talk about anything, we never talk about something unless we've done it. And so we have done it. And if we've talked about it, we've done it. There's things we haven't done. But
I won't talk about it. If we haven't done it, I'm not going to give you advice on that because I don't know how to do it.
Exactly. But if you want advice on something we've done, we are here to talk to you about it. We're so glad you guys are here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so all 5 of us are the Vision Possible team. For more information on Vision Possible, you can go to visionpossible.net to learn all about what we do, to view our live streams. We come to you live every single week. One of us will post. And so we're just so thankful that you guys are joining us. But as you know, this is a live Q&A. So I'm going to put instructions on the screen of how you can send in your questions today. And so if you see on the screen right there, it's scrolling across the bottom. You can text in your questions. So the instructions for texting in your questions is you text at the @ VP question. You type that in the text box and you send that to 81010. Follow the prompts on there. Put in your name and your information so we have it, and then submit your question, and I'll be able to see that and we'll answer it live online. And then the other way you can do it is if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, just put your question in the comments. I'll see those in real time and we will answer your questions. But guys, we're so excited about tonight. We're so excited every single month to be able to come to you to answer these questions. One of the highlights of our month, because we actually get to invest in you. That's Butch mentioned it, but what we're really passionate about is actually seeing your vision come to pass, right? To get it out of your head, into your heart, into the marketplace. And we do that through practical real life experience. Like Butch said, we're not professional teachers. We have just been there. We've done it. We've walked the walk. And so that's what we love giving back, is some of the school of hard knocks that we've been through. So anyways, without further ado, let's jump into some of these questions. By the way, hi to Tara, hi to Rick, hi to Mikey02, and hi to the Living Blue Jay. Hi Lisa. Good to see you all joining
The
on.
Living Blue Jay.
Is that a name of a band? The
Yeah,
Living Blue
the
Jays.
Living Blue Jay. Glad you guys are here, though. Thank you for joining us.
So we've already got a couple of questions coming in. I see several about cryptocurrency. So I think we'll start there. Let's just jump right into the deep end. So
You go right ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll point this question towards Ryan to start. Is cryptocurrency right now a smart buy? And also a question about like these meme stocks, these meme coins, like, is that a good place to buy in? Because people are making real money from those today. So Ryan, financial guru, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to talk about that. And just to be clear, I have to say I'm not a stockbroker, financial advisor. I'm not a CPA or attorney. These standard caveats, but I do study this stuff and I work with finances, full time for a living. And it is absolutely true that a lot of people are making a ton of money through Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, meme stocks, all that stuff. And I think that there is money to be made there. Clearly, that's been demonstrated. But I think that a lot of people who have made a lot of money right now are just as likely to lose most, if not all of it, if they don't have their financial foundation set. So like anything else in life, you can't just skip right to the top. You've got to lay that foundation first. So before you start investing in very high risk things like, very volatile cryptocurrencies that jump up and down in price, every day, these meme stocks that can be up, a ton one day and down even more the next. I think it's really important that everybody has their basic financial house in order. So having a good budget that you stick to, making more than you're spending, saving, investing, giving, just the basics, foundational things. And then, start to build some downside protection to make sure that things can't wipe out all of your wealth. So getting good insurance in place, making sure that you've got good entity structures of your business. Those aren't very fun. They're kind of boring, but as Warren Buffett and all the greatest investors will tell you, boring is good when it comes to investments. Once you've got those basic things built, some, core portfolio things, real estate, retirement funds, those kinds of things. Then once you've built that foundation and you can afford to lose all of that money, then maybe start investing in Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, meme stocks, options, those high risk things. But that's a big thing I'd leave you with, is that if you're not totally prepared and okay to lose all of your money in those more speculative, high risk, high reward type asset classes, then you really shouldn't be doing it in the first place. So probably not what everybody necessarily wants to hear, but that is, I think, time honored wisdom. And, eventually you can get there and take those risks, but I wouldn't do it if you're not in a position to lose that money.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was awesome. Yeah. What I love too, this isn't, an 80-year-old person going, don't do that new stuff with those new kids. You know, you are a young man and you're studying this stuff.
75.
He's only 75. But no, but he's a young man and he's studying this stuff. And that was great advice because, you know, it's just like going to Vegas sometimes and putting all your money on the crap table or on, you know,
That's
whatever
what people are doing, Julieann.
roulette.
It's a great analogy because people really are. If they don't know what they're doing, they haven't researched it, they don't know. And a lot of these things you can't really predict the prices. But, you know, if you're going to buy Bitcoin, I'd say make sure that you're going to hold on to it for at least 10 years, you know, and don't try to just buy and sell quickly. But that roulette table in Vegas is a great analogy, Julieann. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing, whether or not they realize it.
The one thing about Bitcoin that I've learned, because I've been looking at it for a while now and have a teeny bit of it, it's one of those things where it has gone up quite a bit. And you really got to know what you're doing as far as investing in anything, because like you said, there's no get rich quick anything. Nothing will make you rich. Nothing will make you rich except wisdom. Put it that way. You know what I mean? There's people that have bet everything they have on stuff, and they definitely, regret it in the long run if they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but have fun learning about it. You know,
Absolutely.
It's like start studying it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, people have made money. A lot of people have made money, but are you willing to invest the time it takes to learn how to, learn that market? It's just like any other investment. Are you willing to take the time for it? Like, I've got a friend, he's literally made tens of thousands of dollars over the past several years in cryptocurrencies, but the guy literally day trades virtually all day long to do it. Like, he's been so dedicated to it. I mean, he's probably made upwards of almost 100 grand at this point. And every single bit of that, though, has been stressful for him, toiling like every single day. So imagine somebody who actually knows what they're doing, who's day trading all day long, and has just gotten to that point. Not to discourage you. Like, if you're excited about it and you're like, hey, this is the next best thing, maybe even God's telling you, hey, this is the next best thing, well, then invest the time to do it. But wisdom, I love that, what Butch just said. Wisdom is the only way to get rich. That is
That's what I said.
true.
Hear that?
That was good.
It was good. Yeah, as they say, a fortune quickly won could also be a fortune quickly lost if you don't know how to maintain it and grow it responsibly. So I'm not saying these are bad things. I think Bitcoin is a great thing to own long term. But like Butch said, there's no get rich quick schemes, and people that are doing it eventually, I think they're probably going to have a rude comeuppance at some point.
But if you look at the price of Bitcoin compared to other stocks, Bitcoin has shot up so much over the last couple of years. I mean, I think as of today, it was $61,000 a share.
Wow.
And a year ago, it was $13,000 a share. So I don't know how much percentage that is, but that's crazy how much that's gone up.
It is. And I mean, I think it is going to go steadily upward, but it was 13,000 before it was 13,000, it was 35,000, right? So if you bought in at 35,000 and it went down to 13, do you have the intestinal fortitude to hold on, really believing that it's going to go up to what it currently is or more? If you do, and it's a long-term hold, absolutely. But if you can't make it work, if you don't double or triple your money in a month, then it's probably a good indication
And that kind of goes with everything we're going to talk about. Intestinal fortitude, having the guts and the nerve to deal with the roller coaster of emotions that come with anything. If you want to start your vision and get it going, you're going to go through things like that, whether it's money or a job or some kind of a training or whatever. There's going to be highs and lows. And
sometimes your gut and your intestines
are on the floor. They're on the floor.
Very true.
Yeah, definitely going to be on the floor.
Yeah.
That's good. Yes. Guys, I just want to encourage you, if you're tuned in right now, we are taking live questions, no subject off the table, but specifically tonight, we're looking at vision and mission. That's what we're all about here, how to have your vision become reality and what it takes to do that, right? So questions on finance, marketing, starting your business, send them in. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube right now, you can just leave your question in the comments. We'll see that. We'll answer that. If you're on XOTV or you would just prefer to text in your question, you can do so as well. The instructions are on the screen. Okay, so the next question we've got is a question on marriage. So I know where I'm going to point this question to. The most qualified people on the call to answer this question, the only married couple on the call to answer this question. But the question is, how can I improve my marriage when it comes to career goals? I think that's a great question. Butch and Julieann, take it away.
How can we improve our marriage when it comes to career goals?
Well,
what do you think, Julieann?
Well, I think that
we buy some Bitcoin?
Yeah.
start off doing that?
Well, I think as far as careers go, you've got to make sure that this is not a career that is going to take this one of the spouses away from the other one.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's not a marriage anymore. That's that's like a business deal between the two. When you get married, you become one. And so, like for instance, if Butch got transferred, or started working out of town for more than a week, Julieann and the family would go with him. Like, you just don't separate. And that's the rules that we made in our house. We weren't going to separate. And so I highly recommend it, because it's not good when you two are both, split up and one's living in another state or across town or whatever. You're married for a reason, especially when you have children. You're married for a reason. You need to be together. So I would look at whatever that career is. And if you find that it's something that's going to take all your time, then you need to really talk about it and decide whether if that is worth your relationship, because you will go through some ups and downs, especially when, let's say you've got 3 or 4 kids you're taking care of, and you're the taxi driver, you're the waitress, you're also whatever, you're the Airbnb, right? And you're taking care of everybody, and your husband is, let's say in another state. Then you're going to start feeling really resentful towards them. Like, I'm doing everything and you're just working there, and I've got all this burden on me. So you got to really be careful when you are deciding on what careers are best for you.
Yeah. And being together with anything, being on one accord, as the Bible says, is always better than being going 2 separate directions. We've met so many people. And we used to be this way too. We had 2 different beliefs, and we were going this way. Never the twain shall meet. And if you're going like this, 2 separate directions, you're never going to form anything of lasting value. And so, yeah, just being together is the main
we
thing.
were just talking with someone over the weekend, and he said that in his first marriage, it was like 5 years. He was a pastor, and he said, I was out, pastoring everybody at the church and not paying attention to my wife. And he said, and I'm guilty. He said, I'd love to say it was all her fault. Yes, she went out and had an affair, and that ended the marriage. But it was like, but I know why she did it. It wasn't right what she did, but it wasn't right what I did either. And so that's why, remember this, a career is a job. Your relationship with your spouse comes first before that. And if it's going to make it so that you and your spouse are arguing or not communicating anymore, and everything is just, bitterness towards each other, that is no job, no amount of money is worth that.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Nathaniel,
I'm good. I can't add to that.
I was going to say, I'm even doing the hand motions and everything, right?
No, I'm good.
No, I couldn't hear you.
No, I was just going to say, the Bible says a lot about one accord, right? Being in one accord. And I think really, if you want to see power in your life, if you want to see power channeled, whether you're single or married, but especially when you're married, it is that one accord. It is that single-mindedness that's going to give you the power to do those things that God has put in your heart. And, God will speak to both of you as a married couple and really give you that central vision and that central focus to do the things that you want to do. So yeah, that was a great answer. We got a lot of questions coming in about investing and so forth, but I want to ask an entertainment related question. So I'll ask this one to Butch. How many years does it take to get a break in Hollywood?
Well, how many years does it take to get a break in Hollywood? I wish there was some kind of a pat answer. There's kids that get, discovered when they're 5 years old and they're on the biggest show on television.
YouTube is helping that out.
Yeah, and they have this huge hit show, and it runs for 5-6 years, and they're 10 or 11, and the show ends. And then it takes them 20 years to find another job, you know. Or there's the story of the person that comes to town and takes 30 years to get their first gig. I mean, there really is no roadmap. I wish there was. That's a good question.
And also selling the show too. A lot of these movies that you see, you're like, oh my gosh, it was so amazing, and you're like, yeah, but you don't know that it was written 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And but most jobs in Hollywood, I want to really be very clear when I say this to people. It depends on what you determine as a break. Well, why can't I get a break in Hollywood? Well, what does a break mean? Do you mean when you become a billionaire and you're like world famous all over the world and you're like the next, I don't know, Tom Cruise or something like that? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about being just a working actor paying the rent? And there's a lot of 98% of the people in Hollywood are just working people that pay the rent. They work on sets. They do character bits. There's a very good friend of mine, has a fantastic Instagram. He's in his 30s, but he's always out there on his Instagram making content. He's doing voices. He's doing on camera stuff.
Yeah.
He does character roles all the time. He's got a very particular character look that he does. But he's just a working class guy. So I guess that would be a break if you get to work every day as an actor. But I think most people define it as getting world famous. And even world famous people make mistakes all the time, and their career can be over like that. So you need to really have a well-balanced mindset. We had this great conference we just went to, and there was a guy there who was talking about being rich and being wealthy. Being rich means you have a lot of money. But being wealthy means you're well balanced. You have a lot of money and you have a good spiritual life, you have a good marriage, you have good health. Because you could be really, really rich, have a ton of money, but your family is terrible. You haven't taken care of your family, you don't take care of your own body, you have zero spiritual life, and everything else is just a mess. But you have all this money. Or you could have all this money and an amazing spiritual life, but your wife and you don't talk,
Right.
or blah, blah,
You
blah.
have no relationship with your kids.
All right, so you need to define for yourself what a break is. Because a lot of people get very lofty. I want to go out and get discovered. What does that mean? You need to figure out what that means. Like when I came to Hollywood, part of me wanted to be an actor, but most of me wanted to be an animator. And how the heck do you become an animator? How do you even start doing that?
Right.
And, okay, you can draw. Great. But how do you get a job drawing? How do you find a job? How do you even get in the studio? How do you get your portfolio to the top of everybody else's portfolio? So define for yourself what that break is, and we can start from there.
It's really, really good. All right, we got another question.
Buy some cryptocurrency on top of that.
No, that was a joke.
That's a joke. I'm not
No.
recommending that at all.
If you guys are just tuning in, that's a reference to one of our earlier questions.
It's a callback. It's a comedy thing.
Uh-huh. Awesome. So here's a great question. This is from Joel via text. He says, how do I literally just get my idea to market? Like, how do I actually just make my idea happen? I think that's a great
That's a Carly question.
Carly, what are your thoughts?
That's awesome. And it's a very popular question right now because I feel like with the age of social media and everything so easily accessible to us, we're able to start a podcast today. We're able to write a book right now and just publish it on Amazon. There's so many ways that you can literally get your vision out there now. So there's a few things, and it's obviously always different depending on the situation. But the biggest thing is you have to believe in yourself. So obviously there's timing and there's talking to the Lord about it and knowing when to do something. But let's say the time is now and it's time to go. You have to do it. The biggest hurdle that you will have to overcome is that failure only happens if you quit. If you launch something and it goes wrong or not how you originally planned, it is not a failure. It does not mean that you are a failure or that the idea is stupid. There could be a simple rerouting. That could have been a simple baby step in the right direction that maybe wasn't the exact direction, but it was a launching pad for you. So that's the biggest thing I think with mindset is don't be afraid to launch because you think you're going to fail. If anything, it's just practice and it's just showing you exactly where you're supposed to go. I was going to be in Miss Los Angeles beauty pageant when I was 18. And I trained for 9 months. And after 9 months, 2 weeks before the event, I did not feel comfortable doing what I was going to do in the pageant, right? I think it's an amazing thing and it was a great experience, but I just didn't feel fully comfortable doing it. And so I was like, I want to take a stand for inner beauty. And I ended up starting my own pageant because of that. So some would call that a failure that I dropped out of the event that I worked so hard for, but instead it was a simple rerouting and a literal launching pad for me to start my big ministry off of it, which I now have pageant 360s that happen all over California. And so that would have never happened if I didn't do the original thing. So the point is, get out there, do something, launch a minimum viable product, an MVP, right? Do the thing, get started, and you never know what's going to take place from there. But you have to do it because no one believes in your vision as much as you, and no one's going to start it for you. So you are your only chance at that. So the longer you wait, the longer it's going to be waiting as well, and the faster it'll be, taken by someone else because your idea was so unique. But with time, someone else might think of it. So do it before it's too late.
That's really, really good. I think you touched on something there. It's like when you have something that's in your heart, when you have something that you know is a winning idea, you have to be obedient. You have to follow through. Like no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to show up. There's not going to be somebody who's just going to walk into your life who's going to make it happen. You need to take that step. You need to be obedient and just go out there and start working it. Ask people questions. Part of what we do here at Vision Possible is coach people through those processes. What are the legal ramifications? What are the requirements to do this and that? But so many times we get caught up so early on. When I've worked with people in the past, they always go to the really deep questions first. Well, what legal entity do I need to set up? And how much money do I have to have in the bank account? And all of these things. While those are all extremely important, the most important thing you can do today is just take one little step forward, whether that's researching something, whether that's going to talk to someone that you know is successful in these things, right? It's those little steps that you're going to take. No one will do it for you. But that's what's exciting. When you've got that vision, just start going after it. I can't tell you how much I've had to self-teach myself. I think all of us on this call can probably say the same thing. We've had to learn from just going out there and doing it. And sometimes, like Carly said, the only failure is just giving up. Like take each and every opportunity, learn from it, and slowly over time, you're going to see that idea come to market, that book that you've been wanting to write, that business that you've wanted to start, whatever it may be that's in your heart, it's going to come out. But don't look to others for it. Don't get confused and bogged down in the details. Just take one step at a time.
That's a great point, Nathaniel. I want to add something on top of that actually goes along with it, is that when you do start doing what Nathaniel just said, you will eventually find people who you will partner with that are like-minded, that can help you in that journey, and vice versa. And just like Butch said earlier, we're speaking from personal direct experience. When I had the vision for a better way and a podcast and a ministry and all this stuff, I shared it with Nathaniel just to interview him for a testimonial that he could share. And he loved the idea so much that he helped me do a bunch of stuff I never could have done, like, start a website and launch a podcast and do all this other stuff. But it was because I did first start taking those small, simple steps of obedience and practical application. And then once you start doing that, it's amazing how things just magically seem to work out. And you run into people like Nathaniel and the Hartmans and, a bunch of other people that you couldn't have imagined, because the vision is strong and you're actually pursuing it. It's amazing how the people will come around you if you take that stewardship of making it happen in the first place.
Yeah, I just saw this comment from Peter. I'm going to throw it up on the screen because I think this really encapsulates probably what a lot of people are feeling. He says, I have so many ideas to share with you guys, but just lack the means and the resources to bring them to life. But, Peter, what we've just been saying in all of this, I think a lot of people are in the same boat. They get it. Like, I work with people a lot. They're like, I want to start a business, but I need money to start a business. But I need the business to make money. It's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, I need the resources to start the business. And yes, businesses take resources. But I have to tell you, we've seen it over and over and over where, like Ryan was saying, you just start talking about it. You start, making little steps forward towards it. And you're going to see people come in your life who have the skill set to do it. You're going to find resources drop in your lap for it. We live in the 21st century. You know how much is on YouTube? You know how much is at the library? Like, go to your local library and see what resources they have that just come with your credit card or your library card. I mean, like, there's so many resources like business databases you can search, like free online classes, like free college courses you can take. Like, there's so many free resources out there today that can just get you started. One of the things that we teach in our Vision Possible conferences is, what are those first initial steps that you have for your business? And obviously they're different depending on if it's a product you're bringing to market or if it's a service, right? Those are kind of the two the big categories. If it's a product, it takes research and development and engineering and those things. But if it's a service, and a lot of people, it's easier to start there. If it's a service, it's as easy as just getting out there and spreading the word. Like word of mouth is one of the most powerful things. Guess what? Everything I just said there about starting your service, that's free. You don't need a lot of resources to start it. You just got to go out there and start doing it. But yeah, Peter, I think a lot of people are in that same boat, but it's just that obedience and taking the steps.
And I think it's also just perspective. Like, do you think it's lack of resources? Which 100%, that is a very true statement. I'm not negating that. But it could be lack of resources in one perspective, or it can be lack of like a fire and passion to cross any sort of obstacle to get it done. If resources is the obstacle, then how are you going to accomplish that? Because with starting a business and starting your vision, you're going to encounter obstacles. So if you view that as the biggest obstacle, it'll be really hard to conquer any other obstacle in the future, because that is like the ground-breaking obstacle that you could encounter with just like that faith step. I mean, it's literally just taking a step of faith. Like, no, this is a vision that's in my heart. I'm going to bring it to pass. I don't have the resources, but you know what? Like, if I'm supposed to have this happen in the world, I'm going to take this step of faith. I'm going to do baby step approach to getting it done. And you'll just be surprised at how like God answers those prayers and those things like come to pass because you took the step. Like, it's literally, that's the hardest part, is just taking that big step of faith when there's nothing, when you're trailblazing something new, when there's no resources. You're literally walking by faith, not by sight. Like, what is the passion in your heart? No matter what, you will figure out a way to get it to happen, because that passion inside of you, the intention behind the action, will drive you forward no matter what is standing in the way.
I want to add to what Peter asked. He asked about, look at the question here, just lack the means and resources to bring them to life. Well, I would just ask, what is the idea? I mean, what resources do you need? I mean, do you want to start a software company, which requires a certain number of resources, or you want to bake cookies? I don't know what your resources are, what your needs are. Whatever the needs are, whatever the resources are, you can find them. You definitely can, but it just depends on the level of resources that you need. Ryan, starting his financial services company, needed a knowledge of finances. So he went and got the knowledge of finances. Now we can begin to share that with people. So that's not that hard to get. You can get books, you can go to classes. But like I said, if you want to start a construction company, you need to have a track record of having built something before. But I don't know how to build something.
Or you go work for someone.
Or you go work for somebody. Yeah, you need to go be an apprentice somewhere. That's how everybody starts. I started off as an artist working under about 74 people before I became someone who they trusted to run a show. So you need to figure out what those resources are and just find out how you can get them. But the thing is, it all comes down to you. I can't do it for you. She can't do it for you. You've got to do it for you. And you can do it, like we were saying. I mean, it's easy to get discouraged, but it's also easy to stay encouraged if you want to.
When Butch was talking a couple of questions ago, about like how do you get into Hollywood? Well, one way is whatever it is, whatever industry that you want to go into, get a job doing that. Let someone else pay you to observe how someone else's business runs. And that way you can, I did that with all the different people that I worked for. I would make mental lists. Well, I'm never going to do this, and I'm never going to do that, and I am going to do this, and I am going to do that. And then once you get that and you're around that kind of industry, then you can start seeing where you could get the resources, as far as if you need, large investors. But being on the outside of what you are trying to attain and just hoping and wanting to do it, but not really working in it yet, I think that's a mistake. I think you should get in and start working at something. Let's say you want to make moccasins. I don't know. That's just kind of came to my head. But I would go to some kind of I would go sell shoes. I would find out what people like. I would go to a shoe, maker, and start learning how to do that. Whatever it is, I would do your research while someone else is paying you to work there and get your research done. My idea, but
No, that's a really, really effective way. I mean, one of the things that I've done is like I sow where I want to go, right? So I find specific areas and organizations that are doing what I want to do. So, for example, I know that I want to be in full-time ministry and travel and teach, and I have a certain passion that I attach to that. And so I've specifically found other ministries that do that exact thing, and I serve them. Like I literally work full time for a ministry now that is doing exactly what I want to do. I'm doing what Julieann said, like seeing, okay, that's a great idea. That's not so great an idea. Like I'm learning from that. And then as well, I also travel with a ministry that's doing the same things that I want to do. And I get to pick their brain and talk to them. And, iron sharpens iron and we work together. But yeah, there's so many different professional entities that you can join and be a part of to really observe and just, you will basically get paid to learn to do what you're called to do. Think about that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we've got several other questions coming in. I love this one from the OG Mikey 2. And this one I'm going to point to Carly, and then I'll also share a little bit on this one. But he says, I'm 19 and really involved in the church. I want to do more things like preach and things like that. It's just hard for me to public speak. So Carly, why don't you share a little bit about your story and how you got into public speaking?
Yeah, I never wanted to be like in public speaking. I kind of launched my pageant that I just mentioned, and that I had to go market myself and speak at places to get people in my pageant. And so that's what launched my public speaking. And that's why I love doing it today, because I grew a passion for it that way. But I don't know if it might work for you, but you wake up one day, want to be a public speaker, and then it just starts naturally happening. Obviously, you have to build a portfolio. You have to build like a reputation with that, because that comes with like any career choice, right? But you can start where you are. If you don't like public speaking, like in public yet, you can practice on TikTok, you can practice on Reels, you can practice on social media. There's, the world is at your fingertips. You can literally start where you are. And then with that will come, hopefully, potentially people reaching out to ask you to speak on their podcast or their TikTok or whatever. And like collaborations can happen. And that's like how it can launch that for you. So it's not that like you have to have it all figured out right now. If you don't like speaking yet in public, you can literally just start like in front of your phone and like speaking that way, and then get used to it before you get asked to speak in public. So even if you have a fear of it, sorry, that's my dog. Even if you have a fear of it right now, you can get started with like what is easier for you. Hopefully is speaking, for TikTok or social media type thing.
Gotta show the dog.
Oh yeah, I don't know if that'd be like rude and unprofessional, but this is happy.
Oh my gosh!
There he
What
is.
kind of a dog is that?
Oh my gosh.
No, that's really, really good,
That's what I
Carly, what you
got.
just shared. I want to add one thing to that too. So like, don't despise small beginnings, right? Like find something, find an environment maybe you do feel comfortable in. So you mentioned that you're involved with church. Well, maybe there's like a small group that you could lead, right? Start something, start with something smaller. Really practice and hone in your detail, or hone in your style, right? With public speaking, practice, and you'll start to feel more and more comfortable. But I will tell you what, there is a certain level where you have to take that inner, whether you call it anxiety or the butterflies in your stomach, and channel it, right? Channel it into energy, channel it into that. And that takes practice. So that's what I'm saying. Don't despise small beginnings. Early on when I knew that I wanted to start teaching, I was able to get connected with my church and help serve in the pastoral care department. And eventually I was able to lead one of the teams there. And I was in charge of every single, it was every 2 weeks at that time, preparing a message and delivering it to the pastoral care folks. And it was just over like a conference call. But I will tell you what, that just every 2 weeks, preparing a message and delivering it helped me so much to be able to be confident to when I was doing it more often. Or like Carly said, it's a great idea. Reels, TikToks, just get on and do some videos online. It's the same concept. You're going to develop your style. You're going to develop your cadence, your tone, your delivery. And then I love also what the Analog Kid 97 said is taking a speech class really helps too. Ryan, like I know you're involved with Toastmasters, right? And so, taking that time to actually practice with a group of people, get around people who have a same common goal as you and work together. That accountability, having others around you. There's just so many ways today to really, like the analog kids said, take the stress off, right? To communicate in front of others. That's really what it is.
Yeah, and in a group like Toastmasters, and it's probably have others like them, if everybody is in the same boat, if everybody's trying to learn to become a better speaker, there's a community supportive aspect to this where everybody knows that they're in the same boat and everybody's got the same heart for improvement and giving constructive feedback that is going to make everybody better off. So it's really inexpensive. If you think that public speaking is part of your vision, I would encourage you. That could be that small first step that we were talking about. Just spend, I think it's $65 or something for 6 months. It's barely anything. And, that has made a massive difference in my ability and a lot of people. Some people come in and they're stuttering, they're scared to death. I mean, they are look like they're about to pass out when they go up there the first time. Within a couple months, they're totally relaxed. Their confidence is increasing. They're becoming much better speakers and they're able to evaluate other people. So that's a small step that if you really are serious about public speaking, I encourage you, check out Toastmasters or other organizations like that.
It's good.
I also have something. Now, this is what I did. I threw myself in acting classes, and I was forced to do scenes. I was forced to do improv. And then I went as far as doing stand-up comedy. And you know what I love about that? Now, I did not really do stand-up comedy to think I was going to be a public speaker.
Don't tell us a joke right now.
No, I don't want to tell one.
Okay.
That was before Jesus, so it wasn't very nice. But what I love about doing stand-up was back in the day, I could stand up there in front of a bunch of drunk people and do my whole comedy act. And I had to get to the point where I didn't care what they did in the audience, like how they looked at me or anything, because it's a hit and miss with stand-up. You could be really great one night and really suck the next night having the same jokes. So for me, it was an acting class. It was throwing myself into stand-up comedy. And again, it's just getting up there. It's like, obviously, if you have a desire to do it, you've got something on the inside of you that needs to come out. It's just the problem is you're too afraid to get up on the stage. Well, do the things that you can to get up on that stage. And then when you open up your mouth, the things that are in your heart will come out.
It's really, really good. Awesome. We've got another question this is actually a 2-part question, and I'm going to point this one towards Butch. This is from Roblox Robot on YouTube. Have you ever pitched a cartoon with other people? So I assume like alongside other people, with other people.
Partnering.
And then the other half of the question is it hard to work with other people when creating a show? Great question.
Wow, it's like we'll kind of just apply that to any project.
Yes.
Is it wise to have partners? Absolutely. If the partner is doing the same amount of work you're doing, and if the partner brings a lot to the table, absolutely partner with someone. But before you do, we talk about this in everything that we teach, and I talk about it in my book, Mad Hustle. If you're going to work with anybody, have a contract with them at the start, day one. Yeah, but they're my best friend. They would never. Yes, they would.
Yeah.
Trust me. When money shows up, everybody's mindset changes. Everybody's attitude changes. And you've got to go into your project or your pitch knowing that you're going to make money at it. What if you were the guy who pitched SpongeBob with your best friend? But then it turns out your best friend doesn't do any work. Your best friend's kind of lazy. You had him around because he was funny, sort of, but doesn't show up to work on time.
Makes a fool of himself on social media.
Yeah, and then embarrasses you. I mean, what if you're partnered with someone like that and there's no contract in place? Then you're in big trouble. So even when you aren't a rich person, you need to start thinking like one at the beginning. Is it the other part? Is it hard to work with people when creating a show? Once again, it depends on the person. If you're a great artist and the person's a great writer, awesome. If you're a great writer and artist and the person is just there because you feel sorry for them, that's a different conversation, guys. And listen, I've lost friends over situations like this where they wanted to partner with me, and I quite frankly didn't need them. I didn't really need them. And I was like, I really don't need you on this project. I'm kind of okay on my own. And they would get offended and walk away. And it was like, well, I don't need you. I can draw and I can write. If you bring something unique that I don't have, absolutely, we'll work out a deal or a situation like that. Or if it's your point of view that I don't have, for sure. But and also don't give somebody half of your show just because they're doing 1 day's work on it for you. Like if somebody is going to draw a picture for you, you don't have any money to give them. Well, I want to give you $50, but you know what? I'll give you half the show. Don't do that, because they'll hold you to that. And so, find the money. If you're gonna, guys, you need to start investing in your career. I'm working with some people now, and I had them buy some certain writing programs because they're writers and they got to invest in this. And so you need to invest in that. If you need to get a laptop, get a laptop. You need to, get the equipment you need. But is it easy? It's never easy working with people, especially when money's involved. But it can be easier.
I want to say this. Think of it this way: you're going to be married to that person, not like married relationship. And
no, it is. Well, it kind of is a marriage.
You know what I mean? It is a marriage. So date them first. Date them first and see if you can be married. Because if let's say for Fairly Odd Parents, if Butch would have had a partner from the very beginning, do you realize that it has been going on since 1997? That he would have had to have, and hopefully the partner would have been a great person. But if that partner was not a great person, he would have been from 1997 to this day, because it's still going on. Yeah. They are doing a live action Fairly Odd Parents show on Paramount Plus. They also have all the other Fairly Odd Parents shows on different platforms all over. But we would still be with that person if that was the partner. And if it was a bad one, that would be a really bad marriage.
Yeah. So, and again, and by the way, the reason I didn't have a partner on Fairly Odd Parents is because prior to that, I'd worked with partners and didn't enjoy the experience very much. So I swore, sink or swim, I'm doing this one on my own. Unfortunately, I was able to swim with that one.
That's really, really good. I mean, you've got to know your strengths and weaknesses, right? And at the end of the day, you can't have someone who can come and compliment you and help build your business, but also remember that you'll be with them forever and they're going to have a part in it.
Guys, be a grown-up. It's time to be a grown-up.
For the life of the project, you will be with that person, unless you buy them out or whatever. But until that happens, it's for the life of the project. Just like death do us part, right?
That's right. Like I like to think about it like Instagram and Snapchat. I think those are great examples where, Snapchat and Instagram were both started independently, right? They were both started by independent individuals who built up. I mean, I think it was a team of people, but they built up these two massive social media networks. And, Facebook both tried to buy both of them at one point. Tried to buy Snapchat at one point. Snapchat said, absolutely not. We're still going to grow and we're going to become big. And you know what? They did. If they would have partnered with Facebook would have taken all their feature set, wrapped it into their own platform. So, but then look at Instagram. And so same thing happened with Instagram. These guys built up this huge social media platform. Mark Zuckerberg came in and said, hey, I want to purchase Instagram. They sold out for only $1 billion. Now, it may seem like a lot, but today what Instagram is valued at is almost 100 times that. Think about that. Like they could have had so much more if they would have just done what Snapchat did. Now, Snapchat is worth way, way more than I think it was them easily like $2 billion that they were offered. And so not selling out, not partnering with another person, sticking it out. Sometimes it might be harder. You might have to work longer hours. But you know what? If that's your idea, own it, especially if at the beginning. I've had this happen with people before with my businesses, especially at the beginning. People want to hop on board. People, say, oh, I can bring value, but I want an equity stake in the company. Well, are you willing to put in that amount of work? And you know what? I'm so glad I didn't, because later on we weren't friends anymore. You might seem like best friends in the moment, but how many of your friends that you had 5 years ago you still have? Like things happen, life moves on, life changes, right? So those are, all great things to keep in mind. We're not saying not go into partnership, but be very, very careful, very wise when you do.
Yeah. And that contract that Butch mentioned is absolutely critical. I can tell you this from a business as well as a financial planner's perspective, that my sister, she had a great example of this. She was looking to partner with someone, really close friend, both, peas in a pod in the same industry.
Oh God, oh no.
And I said, please get an operating agreement, think through every eventuality, get it signed, make this a legal document. Like, no, we'll be fine. Well, you can guess what happened. Sure enough, it was just a train wreck. And my sister is still paying the price for that because her friend started the business, and systematically my sister has been over promised and under delivered time after time. And it's not this person's a bad person. they became a business owner for the first time and realized all the demands that were on them. And I don't doubt that she's dealing with a lot of things too, and they're still close friends, but it was not at all what they thought it was going to be on a handshake and a smile. So I really cannot overemphasize what Butch said. Take that seriously, think through so many different things about that, get it in writing, and then you can have, exit agreements built into it. There's all kinds of ways to structure it. But yeah, please do not just go in on a handshake and a smile because this person's my friend and we're just going to light the world on fire, because there will be things that come up, especially like Butch said, when money gets involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Bible says, be harmless as doves, but wise as serpents. So absolutely, be as guiltless. That's what that means. Guiltless as doves. That means have your ducks in a row, have things in order, be harmless. Don't let anyone be able to take advantage of you, because you are harmless, but also be wise as a serpent. That means crafty, cunning, wise, right? So that no matter what scenario you're in, you're basing every decision you're making off of wisdom. All right, guys, we've got about 10 minutes left before we're going to wrap. I've got another great question, but if you're watching right now, I'm seeing several questions about, is it possible to work with us? Is it possible to, get coaching, etc.? I just want to take a moment and say, we do offer coaching through Vision Possible. If you go to visionpossible.net, you can learn more information about who we are, what we do, what Vision Possible is. And if you become what we call our Vision Possible Protegés, that's the creme de la creme. That is the program where you can get, literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of our teaching is available. If you go to visionpossible.net, you can see that information. You can sign up for as little as just the cost of one cup of coffee a month. You can have access to our entire ever-growing video library. Well, we go way in depth on things like building business, marketing, finding what is your vision, what is your calling, no matter where you are on that spectrum. And it gets you access to personal one-on-one coaching. So I just wanted to mention that if you are interested in that, go to visionpossible.net. That's where all the information is about our coaching. Because it's one thing to be on these live Q&As, but we got such a short amount of time and we don't know your specifics. And so coaching allows us to go deeper in depth and really provide those practical things. All right, so we've got one more question. This question is from text. And I'll let anyone take this because I think this is a great question that's really applicable to a lot of people. But what do I do when I see somebody with less experience than me get a great opportunity or be promoted?
We've never seen that
Doesn't
happen.
that make you mad? Oh my gosh. Here's what you do. This is Julieann's opinion. You bless them. You get excited for them. You don't allow your heart to get envious, and don't allow your heart to feel any kind of negativity towards the situation, because the more you bless them, the more you're going to be blessed. That's it in a nutshell.
And that's really good. And, again, whatever you do not go on social media and rant negatively about that person or the situation or anything. Don't ever do that. I want to answer this one question I see from the animatic question. Who was it? It was
yeah, let me throw that one up. I saw that as well. So from the Living Blue Jay, the question is super quickly, if you've got the time, what are the differences between a storyboard and an animatic?
An animatic, yeah, real quick. A storyboard is a hand-drawn storyboard, like a traditional Disney storyboard, like a comic strip. The animatic is when you film that storyboard with voices and sound effects, and you actually film it like a real movie. And when you watch it, you're basically watching the drawings. It doesn't animate really, but it's like filming it and putting all. It's almost like watching a pre-version of the finished movie. That's what that is. That's what the animatic is. Yeah.
So who else wants to take that?
Other
about
question.
What do you do when someone gets something that they don't deserve?
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great question. And I'm actually going to take that from the other side. So, and I come at it from a unique perspective. So when I was working at a church, this was back in maybe 2012, 2013. Actually, I mentioned it a little bit earlier when I took over pastoral care for a team. I joined a pastoral care team just to get the experience of working on that team. And within a few months, the leader of that team had passed away. Some things happened, just tragedy. And they actually moved me into his position. So I was over a team of, at that time, like 7 people who had all been in ministry longer than me. Most of them were adults. And I was I think maybe just turned 20 at the time.
Oh,
And
geez.
so there was a lot of animosity, and just being on the flip side of that. So seeing myself, I was dealing at that time with a lot of self-conscious issues. Like, I'm not qualified to do this. I had to just trust that the Lord had qualified me for that. And it was just a really trying time for me. And it was tough to see what were at the time my friends kind of turn on me and just be like, I know they were talking behind my back because the pastor was sharing, hey, be careful, etc. Like, they're talking behind your back. And so I just have to say, when you're in that position, you need to sow into that person, right? Just continue to bless them, because one day that will be you, and how you're going to treat them is how you want to be treated when you're in that place. So if you're treating them a certain way, then when you get promoted, that's how people are going to treat you. So really just take the time to bless them and continue to share, not in a way of trying to slip in, hey, I know this more than you do. No, do it from a pure heart. I've got a guy right now who works for me at my full-time job in project management, where he's literally written the book. I'm not even joking, written the book on project management. This guy teaches at the University of Colorado Boulder, project management theory, program management. The guy's literally written, I think it was 2 or 3 books on project management with some of the most famous names in the industry. The guy has come and worked for me. And I can tell you, I can attest to this. When he humbled himself, man, he has learned so much. He has grown, and he's super excited about sharing what it's like to do project management in a nonprofit environment, which is where I work, right? Because he's only used to the government sector and the for-profit environment. So you can learn under anyone. Have that attitude, have that heart, and you'll be promoted in due time. I guarantee it. Sometimes it's a test of your heart. It's a test of where you're at. When you see somebody get promoted above you, what is your response going to be? People are watching. Leadership is watching. I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
And Carly, you work in a pretty big office. I'm sure you've dealt with that too.
Yeah, all that you guys are saying are completely ditto and retweet, because it is extremely, it's all just the same stuff. Like, you reap what you sow, and it's literally just like, what is your heart posture towards when someone gets promoted or an opportunity is there for them? How would you want someone to react if that happened to you? It's kind of what I like to live by.
Yeah.
I think you can also celebrate it as a down payment almost on your own breakthrough. You know, if you see somebody who gets the thing that you want, instead of getting envious, like Julieann said, celebrate that success, because what God did for them, he can and will do for you if you believe it. And if you realize that God is no respecter of persons, that could be your victory. That could be a glimpse of what is to come for you. So when you can truly celebrate that and get excited, like, especially if they're less qualified than you, well, man, this person did it. They got in this position. How much more should I expect that I could do that? So if you kind of flip that script and look at it as an encouragement of like, this is where I can go, this is what God has for me, then it can totally change your mindset.
Cool.
Hey, really quick, I saw someone ask about private coaching, and I just want to tell you that it's such an amazing thing to be able to work with everybody, with people individually. I've got a few clients, but one particular that I had my meeting with today, she's all the way in Australia, but we work it out, so time-wise. But man, the growth in her has been just like, she blows me away every week. And she told me she was the biggest procrastinator. She just needed someone to be accountable to. She really did, she hasn't gotten much done. She just gets very involved in one thing when she needs to be able to like look at a bigger picture. But anyway, just her particularly, we've done, I think, 5 sessions now. She is grown. Like I'm like her biggest cheerleader. Just today, I couldn't stop telling her how amazing she was, because she just went past all of the negative things that she thinks about herself and that she's been doing for many years, all the different bad habits. And man, she is killing it. And so if any of you need help, this is not cheap. I want you to know that. It is not cheap. So this is not like, joining the XOTV or whatever you'll find on visionpossible.net. That is cheap, but you're not going to get personal one-on-one coaching. So go to visionpossible.net and you can find out information about personal coaching there. We all need one. We have one. We all need somebody. We need help. And why not why not get it? Because it's hard to navigate on your own.
Yes, go to visionpossible.net. You'll see all the information there. Once you sign up to become a Vision Possible Protege, you get access, and all the information will be there. You can click. You can choose your coach based off of topic, based off of like what exactly your idea is, what your vision is, and maybe you don't even know what that is. It's okay. Like that's what we're here to help you with. Whether you have no idea what your vision is and you're looking to discover it, maybe you know what it is and just haven't taken the first step. Or maybe you're walking in it. Like Butch and Julieann said, they've got coaches. We've all got coaches because even though we're walking in our vision, we need that catalyst to go to the next level, that encouragement. And so I want to encourage you, if you're interested, I'll put the information on the screen one more time. Go to visionpossible.net. It's there on your screen. Check it out. And we will be more than happy to work with you. But guys, guess what? We are at time. That hour flew by.
Wow.
Good.
Okay, next month. We'll get you next month. So make sure.
So
that you
we are
mark
going to be
your
coming to you guys live now every single first Monday of the month. So put it on your calendars.
But subscribe
First-
to the YouTube channel. It's a pretty new channel, so subscribe to it and follow us on Facebook. We put videos up all the time, you guys, and we're here to help you.
Yes. And if you click that notification bell on Facebook and on YouTube, you'll know. It'll push right to your phone whenever we go live so you can join us. But guys, thank you for sharing your questions. Thank you for joining
so much,
us.
everybody.
We'll talk to you guys next month.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.